चलिए इसी के साथ let's move ahead now to one of the most exciting segment. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this, the fireside chat. And to do the fireside chat, we have the moderator here. I would request all of you to please give it up for Prady Kumaar, Managing Partner, MP Digital. Can we have a huge, huge round of applause for Mr. Prady Kumar? Prady Kumar, CEO and Managing Partner of NP Digital, a distinguished professional in digital and performance marketing. Can we please have you on stage, sir, if you can hear me? Prady Kumar, if you can hear me, I would request you on stage. Meanwhile, I'll introduce the speaker for this fireside chat. Pooja, Baid, CMO Versuni, India Home Solutions. Are you around? Can you join us on stage then? Please give it up. A huge, huge round of applause. A seasoned business marketeer, boasts over 15 years of experience in building businesses, establishing brands through creative marketing strategies. And of course, as CMO of Versuni India Home Appliances, she drives the company's marketing strategies, brand recognition across India. Pooja has also built and divested in e-commerce portal in food aggregation space early in her career. MBA from International Management Institute, Delhi. And of course, she's here for a great, great value addition. And of course, we have Mr. Prady Kumar also here with us now. Thank you so much for joining us. CEO, Managing Partner of NP Digital India, distinguished professional in digital and performance marketing as well. With over 15 long years of experience, he has excelled as a digital marketer, entrepreneur, multi-agency owner, and so much. So we're really looking forward for you to moderate this session. And also, our second speaker for this session, ladies and gentlemen, give a huge, huge round of applause for Mr. Praveen Rao, Director of Marketing, SAP. Praveen Rao, a marketing and business professional with 22 years of experience in B2B marketing. He leads mid-market, digital marketing and strategic projects as well. His career began at the Times of India Group, followed by roles at DNB, Microsoft, Arvato, where he established the marketing services business. And today I'm sure he's here to make the most of it and also divulge all of us in the topic creativity as a business catalyst. Since all the business veterans are right here, over to you, sir. Let's understand the creativity and the importance of it as a business catalyst. Over to you.
Thank you so much. And, today's topic is more of like which gives lots of energy even for every brands to look upon, because creativity alone will drive the innovation. So every brand in this competitive landscape, they want to be integrating creativity rather than the traditional business cycle, because more of brands want some kind of creative innovation. So with that, I have wonderful leaders with me to speak about the creativity and how to maybe capitalize or catalyst. We want to make use of creativity into the business. So how you defining to integrate creativity into the business? What is your idea about that?
Okay, before I speak about creativity, maybe let's also wake up some of the audience and maybe let's ask them what their thought on creativity is. I'm quite sure we have some very creative people out here in the crowd, people who run beautiful agencies, lovely brands. Can anybody share their definition of creativity? What do you think creativity is? नहीं आपको single out करके नहीं पूछ रही हूँ. But anybody who wants to share what they think creativity is. Frankly, there's no fun in just us sharing our definitions and you guys scrolling away on your phones, right? What do you? Let's make this more interactive. Let's chat. What do you think creativity is? Fantastic. Thank you, Nikita. Anyone else who wants to share their definition of creativity? Yes, please. Uh-huh. Mhm. Fantastic. May I know your name, sir? Sukrit. Thank you so much, Sukrit, for sharing your definition. Prady, I think, actually, I don't think, I read this. Albert Einstein once said that creativity is everyone seeing the same thing or seeing the same thing that everyone else sees, but thinking what no one else has thought. Um, and I think it's probably the best summary of what creativity really is. In my personal opinion, creativity is not limited to making of films or posts or JPEGs or videos or any of those things. Creativity essentially is around finding solutions to problems that lead you somewhere. And honestly speaking, I don't think that creativity also always lies in planning. Sometimes creativity also lies in the way you execute a particular solution. And I think Sukrit spoke very beautifully about how you're really executing creative things every day in some parts of the business. But I think at some level, as marketers, we are tuned to think about creativity in a very straight-jacketed format, right? In a very straight-jacketed format of film banani hai, creative banana hai, ad banani, campaign banani. That's not really what creativity is limited to. That's just a very small part of creative expression. Really, real creativity is around saying, you know, I'm getting into festival. I need to run a promo. I have zero budget. Can I come up with a no money marketing idea? Now that's creative, right? Or to think about. I don't know how many of you guys. I'm sure all of you are on social media and you saw some really brilliant campaigns where one brand keeps taking on other. There are these brand pairs, right, who keep taking on each other very, very frequently on crucial days, on crucial moments, at crucial points in time in different months. I think some of those are very good expressions of creativity, but essentially, those expressions of creativity are trying to address a specific problem, find solution to a specific problem. And I think finding solution to a problem that could have existed before, the solution also could have existed before, but executing it to deliver what you really want to deliver is, in my view, the definition of creativity for business. But
Awesome, Pooja. And so, what you are just telling, the changing the perception of a regular view with the solution point of view, that is more of like it drives. And I want to listen, like how you encourage that into the business and how you encourage that need to be integrated among the people or employees or into the culture. How you are suggesting we can make it happen into the company.
Uh, Brilliant question, and I think companies are hiring some very expensive consultant to bring that element in their organization. So if I'm able to even partly address that, I would be very happy. But on a serious note, creativity, as you rightly mentioned, is just not limited to the front end, which is advertising, copy, message. I think a lot of creativity also goes into the process of understanding your customer journey. It also goes into your product design. It also goes into how your product becomes available and so on and so forth. And we can go on and give several examples. But to specifically your question, I think if you look at any companies that have existed over the last 50 years, okay, let's not go that far. Around the turn of the century, I wish to ask my audience, we all know about Fortune 500. How many companies do you think would have survived till 2024 from the ones who existed in Fortune 500 in around 2000? Any guesses? 5%, 10%, 50%? Was still in that list?
So limited.
Oh, okay, so Pooja is saying only 5 companies out of those 500 are existing. Any guesses? 10% are existing or gone. 10% are existing from that list. Any other guesses? So it's about 35% companies. 6 out of 10 companies have ceased to exist in that list. Another fun fact, and that is where it becomes more interesting. Out of 100 companies which existed in Fortune 500 then, and not too back, 24 years back, have ceased to exist.
Yeah.
They are dead. So imagine in just 25 years, 24 years, from being the top 500 companies of the world to not being there is a phenomenal. Now, what has led to that? The fact of the matter is that those organizations were not thinking creatively as a whole. Those organizations somewhere were they were basking the glory of their position, their leadership, whatever you may want to call it. But reality is that somewhere those organizations have scuttled creativity as a whole as an organization. Now, for an organization to remain alive, to remain vibrant, to remain relevant, it is important that employees of that organization collectively, the partner ecosystem of that organization collectively thinks about, okay, how do we remain ahead of the curve to remain relevant in our business? And I have seen in multiple organizations where they encourage every aspect, every department to come and think differently, to challenge the status quo of that particular company, to think differently about their processes, products, etc., to remain relevant. Classic example, I represent a very boring category, B2B software. My organization, SAP, has been around in this world for 52 years. We are the number one enterprise company. Our stocks are doing very well. Now, it's not because people love our logo or we are offering a product which is not replaceable. In today's world, everything is replaceable. But we are a de facto for most of the enterprise and now mid-sized companies in India when they want to run their processes, right? Now, today, in the unthinkable that has happened in the world of SAP is that we've become a cloud company in the shortest possible window, 2.5 years. We are a heavy software, and you are our users. Yes, so, so we are a very heavy software, on-premise software, and just around COVID times, we shifted the fulcrum to become a cloud company. Now, it just didn't happen overnight. Somebody was thinking ahead of the curve, and it was, mind you, just not the R&D team who was thinking that how do we innovate the product, but a lot of feedback was coming from the field. A lot of feedback was coming from the customers. A lot of feedback was coming from the partners. And that is where the culture of innovation helped SAP remain relevant for 52 years and keep reinventing. So mine is an extreme example, a B2B software brand, a very, very behemoth, large, as they call it, a big software company. But come to think of it as an automotive company. Pick up any company in a given category, there are disruptors. And if Tata Motors, despite all the benefits that they've reinvented, Mahindra has reinvented, I think it's about just not the leader, but it's about the collective freedom. And some wonderful companies have actually gone bust because somewhere somebody has scuttled free thinking out of the box, unconventional things. So I think that culture is very important.
Great. It's a great insight, Praveen. Thank you for the information. What he has said is rightly like when the decade or maybe more than 25 years or more than 50 years, either the company will go saturated or maybe go outside of the market. So what remains is whatever the innovation or new creative brands ensuring to matching up to the new trend.
Totally.
So it's a cool idea. I want to know like how it will be really balanced between creative ideas and with the practical business concentration, how we can balance it out in the businesses, how you are thinking we can balance the creative idea with the other stuff practically happening.
See, again, it goes back to the market realities. What does a customer expect? There are three factors. So there is no cap to creativity. You can think of anything. I could think about something which is unheard of and I might want to develop it. But those ideas will always remain a hallucination or a daydream if it doesn't find the practicality of implementation and adoption in the market.
Okay.
Now, some companies or some products were ahead of the curve. They would have died, they would have remained stagnant, but suddenly they saw that uptick coming in a certain way. Whereas certain companies have actually planned in that direction when the market was ready, when the timing was correct. See, the classic example is the whole IoT revolution. And Alexa-based or a Google Assistant-based products have come back, 8-9 years back. But do we even remember one such category or a product then? But today, because it has become the order of the day, when you are able to, where you are habitual to use applications and govern certain things with the help of your smartphone, I think a refrigerator, an air conditioner, and simple as a ceiling fan today are becoming an order of the day. As a matter of fact, a lot of governance of your smart television today is not with the conventional remote, but you're trying to navigate it with the help of your phone because everything is running on applications. Now, so when it comes to the practicality versus creativity balance, of course, you must think ahead of the curve, and AI is going to be a game changer. How would you watch your next program? How would your TV react to your behavior? So the device, the software, the connectivity, and the whole AI will become the nerve center in the way things would do or function for consumers tomorrow. So balancing is important, but your horizon has to be slightly longer. Okay. Because if I'm not thinking 10 years down the line, somewhere I'm scuttling my long-term growth while I continue to address my current needs.
Okay, so cool. And so Pooja, what's your thought?
I think, personally speaking, I don't think there is a versus. I don't think there's a versus between practical reality and creativity. The two go really hand in hand. Praveen said something really interesting in his previous answer. He spoke about how creativity for an organization, for a business, needs to become part of its culture. It needs to become who you are, how you think, how you approach problems. It's not necessarily only about product innovation. Sure, product innovation will have its challenges of practical reality, its timing of launch, whether it's ahead of the curve, behind the curve, whatever else. But I think creativity as a thought process extends a lot beyond the whole product market fit paradigm, right? If organizations are able to embed in their culture creativity, if they're able to make it a habit to be creative, I think it's a matter of solving for the problem at hand, right? And the solution needs to be something which basically gets the thing done. And that solution in being creative just needs to be something which is not done before. And that also not for the sake of it. So for example, if my objective is to sell this bottle of water to you, if that's my KPI, and I can do it just like that and you'll pay me money for it, frankly, why should I waste any creativity doing it? However, if this isn't working out like this and I need to find something else,
I will drink it.
I'm a good salesperson, but if it doesn't work out as well as that and I need to deploy something else, as long as my goal is in my sight and I manage to find a way of doing this, convincing you that this is absolutely essential for you to keep your business running or your voice going or something, I think that's really what my understanding or idea of creativity is. So it's not just about big ticket innovations in that sense, either in terms of product or process or execution, but essentially around approach to a problem. Okay. As long as you approach a problem and get to its solution, sometimes in ways, because conventional ways are not working, I think for me is the epitome of creativity.
Absolutely.
And I think that exists hand in hand with practical everyday business, because what you are trying to solve for is practical everyday business. And I think that's where my thought is.
As long as creativity does not cost you money,
Yeah.
and helping you do your day-to-day job better, I think it's about the culture, as you rightly mentioned.
Certainly, the way what's your thoughts are in aligned with, but I want to really know like what kind of techniques are do you recommend for fostering the culture of creativity in the businesses?
Honestly, it's very tough. I think I want to admit that I find it very difficult. And the reason is rather simple. All of us, I think, or at least I do, suffer from what is called inertia. Right? All of us, most of us are not solving earth-shattering problems. Most of us are solving or doing everyday things, small things, right? We have our month KPIs or year KPIs or whatever. We're solving for everyday small things. And there are set processes and ways of doing those things. And there is massive inertia internally in an organization, in systems, to really do things just the way they have been done for many years. Over a period of time, the process becomes ineffective, so the output doesn't come, but the inertia doesn't go. within the organization, within yourself also. And I think, therefore, the whole process of creating the culture of creativity or the habit of creativity really starts from overcoming your own inertia as a leader. Be willing to take risks continuously, not just push your team to come up with solutions which are probably creative or offbeat or different from what's been running so far, but it's also a lot about training your own muscle to accept some of those solutions, run with them and fail. As a leader, if you're not willing to run with some of the ideas that your team comes up with and fail, because 80% of them will fail, frankly, I don't think it'll be possible for anybody to develop a culture of creativity or make creativity or creative response a habit. What's your take, Praveen?
Oh yes, absolutely. I just wish to go back to my audience here. With a show of a hand, how many of you in this room are from an agency background?
Who am I?
Okay.
I did a couple of years.
How many of you are from the publisher background here? Okay. And how many of you are the so-called client side or brand side? Okay, I could see some gentlemen having a multiverse scenario, which is fantastic. So I wish to talk about creativity at a very, very grassroots level. And since you talked about, and inertia is absolutely the biggest stumbling block. Everybody, all of us, including me, are supposed to report something in our day-to-day lives, correct? We report campaign performance, we report spends, P&L statement, it could be anything. Now, just go back tomorrow and challenge. And frankly, I tried this experiment with myself and I challenged my team. Sometimes when you just publish data, are you publishing data? Are you publishing information? Or are you publishing insights? Is the first question that you must ask yourself and then to your team. And see the magic when you simply convert a simple table that you're reporting into a graph. Just by adding percentages to the numbers, changes the way somebody interprets the data. We are all living in an attention deficiency world. So a simple graph embedded into your mail saying that this is how my trend looks like over the last week-on-week performance, for example, or spend analysis or ROI, will change the way somebody who's reading your report will perceive you and eventually your organization. So creativity is in the way you do things at times. We have lovely tools. Majority of them, I was talking to somebody in Microsoft. You know what? Microsoft Excel comes with some lovely features which can simply pluck your data on a daily basis to publish a boring report every day. Now, most of us ends up spending at least 45 minutes to publish a simple report to collate the data and all that. Unless you're using a CRM, it's a different story. But it comes with a feature where you can just map the fields. Out you go, right? So there are so many examples with which you can actually turn around the way you can do certain things. A simple event that you might be doing for the sake of welcoming new employees on board, new customers on board. We all talk about generative AI, we talk about avatars. There are tools available to open a welcome note with the help of an avatar without really costing you serious money. So these are simple everyday innovations with existing stuff, with the practices, with the processes that can help you shift the paradigm in the way you would think about creativity.
Sure, Praveen, it's rightly said about the innovation comes with paradigm shift, and it is really been needed. And with your experience, like how both of you, like how you are evaluating creative initiatives with any specific metrics or KPI, how you are thinking it can be measured, with what kind of metrics we can see that it has been actually the creative initiative has been supporting the change in the business, or any KPI related to that. What are you thinking?
I think for me, I very firmly believe in what is called audience choice, right? So all of us watch movies and award functions, etc. There are jury awards and then there are audience choice awards. I just feel like when you put any solution out there to its audience, and if the audience finds it valuable, appreciates it, laps it up, I think that's testimony of the fact that your creative solution was good. Again, for me, creative solutioning or creativity is not about just being different from everyone else for the sake of being different. It is essentially about solving for a particular problem. For example, as a panel, we've been trying to solve for the boredom of the audience, but we've not been able to because everyone is constantly scrolling their phones and a couple of people have fallen asleep. But I think
That will be the difficult.
as creative people, we are really failing because we are not being able to solve for this problem. However, if we were able to energize this audience and if the audience was engaging with us, right? Because we just decided to make a fireside chat, we decided to make it a two-way conversation with the audience and it really would have worked. I think that would have been proof of the pudding that the solution is working, right? And therefore, in my head, it's less about fixing KPIs around, I don't know, hard-coded numbers like if I were to talk about content pieces that go out on social media, for example, sometimes you put KPIs like engagement or this or that or CTRs and conversions and so on and so forth. I think all of those are ways of quantifying audience reaction to whatever you've put out. And quantification of audience reaction or audience reaction can be measured for absolutely every piece of creativity. Your audience can keep changing, your platform can keep changing, but as long as people accept it, I think in my book of creativity, it sort of works. Obviously, fails in some cases, like Praveen was also mentioning, there are things that are ahead of time. I'm a prime example of that. I once founded a startup called Hunger Pangs, which was a food delivery portal. I founded it way back in 2011, many years ago, the Zomatos and the Swiggies of today. And I found it in the city of Calcutta. And it didn't do well, okay? I had to shut it down in about 2 years' time. I personally would like to justify it by saying it was so creative, so, brilliant an idea. But the fact is that the audience that I was catering to at that point in time wasn't ready for that solution, did not appreciate that solution. And as much as I might be in love with the idea that I had or the effort that I put into creating this, it was a flop idea in that context at that point in time. If I were to be able to do that again today, or if I were able to run that for 5 years and then unlocked my fortunes, maybe life would have been different for all of us. But therefore, in my view, the true test of creativity is whether audience laps it up or not, whatever your audience is. Our audience clearly is not lapping up anything. I mean, you have to do something about
correct
it.
in your case.
Yes, I agree.
I'm sorry.
But that's my hometown.
So more of like, even in this present occasion, what is the creativity you are using to make the audience engaged?
And we tried to make our conversation our conversation, but that's not happening.
Our conversation is want to be louder conversation to make them seek the attention.
No, then, see, one of the questions you asked was, how do you form a culture or habit of creativity, right? And inertia, in my view, is the biggest problem. So my way of dealing with inertia is I just start picking up at people and forcing them to participate in conversations, which is why the first participant in the conversation was Nikita, who is part of my team. Now she needs to participate.
Really appreciate that. What you've done is really appreciated that kind of energy. At least everyone want to think that, okay, we have learned something out of this panel and it is really cool, rather than just us boring. So in these days, what kind of tools it may be used for leveraging this creativity? Any ideas from your point of view? Any technology involved? Any kind of technology we can follow for making use of creativity in the business?
You mean to say enablers or disablers for creativity?
Enablers.
Some of the tools are both actually. ChatGPT is a
You
classic
can't
example.
talk about technology being a disabler. You are from a tech company.
No, I can always because ChatGPT is clearly a disabler as well as an enabler. Sometimes people just create something and say, what lovely stuff. But coming to the point, yes, there are. I think most of the tools that we've been using are all fantastic tools to enhance your creativity. And I'm a firm believer that even a PowerPoint, if used well, can be used to create videos in today's times. You could use an Excel to create some lovely reports. And of course, you bring in a lot of utilization of now AI becoming part of Adobe and Microsoft and so many ecosystems to enhance higher quality outcomes. But I think the answer is not there. The answer is the people behind these tools, whether they choose to shut their mind and blindly follow what a machine-generated algorithm is giving you, or you wish to become superlative on top of that to even enhance that and take it to the next level. So tools were there and they will remain, and rather tools will become much more handier. I think today our phones can convert a collage of pictures into lovely videos and suggest music, and there you go, you are doing some lovely stuff on Instagram, etc. But that is also raising the bar. That is also raising the bar for audience to accept creativity. But that is where the disruption in the process comes, and here is where the human mind thinking differently, trying to break disruption will remain handy. So I think tools, all good. It's about how you use the tools.
Okay.
I think, Prady, the important thing about tools is at what point in time in the creative journey do they come into picture? If the starting point is a tool, then it usually ends up being a problem. And I had a very interesting experience a few days ago. I was working in a group of people, and I happened to cite something that I came across on LinkedIn, which was a augmented reality video done by some other brand for some other category. And I cited that as a beautiful example of creating noise when you're launching a new product. And I was trying to show it to them, to inspire them to think creatively about how do you grab attention to grab attention of people when you're launching a particular product. Now, unfortunately, the tool or the technology became the focal point of that conversation because creativity is talked about every day. That tool was spoken about on that particular day. The ideas that came back were so focused on that tool that the whole nucleus of creativity around solving the problem got lost.
Okay.
So all the ideas came around इस tool को कैसे use कर सकते हैं और इस tool से ये बन जाएगा वो बन जाएगा ये कर लेते हैं. And I was like, hang on guys, इस tool से ये बन तो जाएगा but बनाना क्यों है? Solve क्या हो रहा है उससे? So I think it's important that we stay away from tools till such time we found what we want to deliver. Tools can be used as enablers, but they need to then come into the journey probably a lot later in the whole process of creating something, maybe.
That's cool, and really insightful information. And before making our session to given some insight for our audience, I want to lastly ask about one detailed question. What, looking ahead, what you foresee in next 5 to 10 years? What is the point of intersection between creativity and the businesses? What kind of trends going to follow through in coming 5 to 10 years period?
May I? Sure. So no, look, I think it's all written out there on the wall. See, very simply put, everything that we consume today, and when I say consume, it's just not what you eat. Consumption is from your screen, consumption is from your experiences. I think everything is becoming more and more connected. That's current state. But the future state, and which is perhaps not even 10 years, nobody can predict 10 years. I think in next few years, we would all see far more connected experiences and the ecosystem becoming far more democratic for people to come and talk to you as an individual around you. That has already started happening. I mean, if you look at the latest cars, be it a BMW or a Merc or even a Kia Seltos, for example, they are seeking your permission today to share your information with certain associated brands. Now, today, a Starbucks in Germany has a collaboration with BMW, and it basically helps you navigate and say, the car will prompt you that, hey, you pick up a coffee on your way to office, there is an offer, would you want to try that out? We are even reaching, and it is no more a science fiction, that the car, an I-series car, has 69 different kinds of sensors inside the cabin. Now, from thermal sensing to your retina to everything, if you are angry, the car will not let you speed up beyond a specific speed limit. The car is governing you. At the same time, Spotify will recommend the music to you to cool you down inside the car. It's happening. It's happening. And it just doesn't stop there. If you're still in a state of rage, car may choose not to even start. So
Praveen has stopped driving now.
So the future gazing, or I think it's all about things coming together. The ecosystem is really becoming far more, and the whole first party, third party data is for another panel discussion maybe, but I think somewhere all of this is going to be frighteningly becoming real, what we today read. So that's one trend for sure. The second trend is automation. We are seeing automation, right? I mean, today, Samsung or some other phones have launched that, hey, click a picture and remove the background. If there's a couple in the background, just get rid of them as you click or immediately after clicking. Now, that's what is going to define the way things would happen in the times to come. You know, you can perhaps click two pictures separately and combine them into one image. You know, that's the next phase of augmented reality that we are talking about. So there are incredible changes. I think all of this is coming together. It is becoming a fulcrum, and it would be a fantastic place to be in.
It's great. Great, Praveen and Pooja. Do you have any?
I just have one add-on. Absolutely agreement with everything that Praveen said. I just feel like even in today's date and world, in a country like India, for example, where we are still in the process of developing or catching up with the rest of the world, we have the luxury of discussing how to foster creativity in organizations, right? I think in 10 years' time, being creative or being able to find creative solutions in an agile manner is going to be a survival condition. With technology, absolutely everything that you think of can get democratized like this. No idea is going to stay exclusive. Nothing is going to protect your idea and give you a monopoly over it for you to be able to earn profits from it for a long period of time. All of that is going to become a thing of the past. Which means every day, to exist, to survive, to thrive, to grow, you will have to reinvent yourself. And every day is a bit of an exaggeration, but to be really honest, what Praveen spoke about at the beginning of his conversation, that 100 companies out of those 500 companies are dead, in the next 10 years, probably a lot many more have to be worried because they will have to find ways of pivoting and pirouetting their business models and their ways of operation very, very quickly. Otherwise, technology is going to outpace all of us. And I think creativity, therefore, will become a tool for survival more than anything else.
That's awesome idea. Like, see, even M Cube guys have sent MC on the stage in a creative way to make us to end this session. That is the kind of creativity I really appreciate. Thank you so much, Praveen, and thank you, Pooja.
Thank you so much.